I guess what,
No, I give him the,
I guess what, it's not like this one thing is gonna make or break anything, right? It's not a big deal if the board says yes and we help them get down here. It's just, things like this that come up once in a while, I just wonder, you know, I'm going on faith that there's just nobody else who can do this. You know what I mean? That can provide food. Another Brentwood business, a caterer in town. I don't know, like, I guess I would feel better if maybe Andy came and you know, talked about, or maybe if you want to designate me to go ask him. I'm not trying to, you know, slow it down, but I guess it's just situations like this where we go, yeah, sure, we'll go pick you up and drag you down the highway, down 125 to come here, and maybe there's another vendor that's like, I would have done it, and I don't have any background on that, and I hate to.
So he did price it out with Sausage Express, with Lexi's Burgers, and with the fried dough food truck vendor that attended National Night Out. And those were all too costly for it. I think he was looking for different, and then he suggested possibly Goody Coles, and I felt that was not necessarily kid appropriate friendly food. Right, kids want something quick and easy, and they don't want to cut it with a fork and
Is
knife.
JoJo's pretty kid friendly?
It's like, it's a
Yeah.
hot dog and a
Yeah,
hot
tacos, right,
dog.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's quick and easy things that they can grab and walk around.
and they're a Brentwood business.
Right.
I see your point, but sometimes it's nice, like when Andy's not here to speak for it himself, he was not sure, but it sounds like there has been relatively due diligence.
Well, he can attend that.
So I'm assuming like Lindsay's can't do it, or,
I think he was looking for more options instead of just pizza, but I'm sure he could ask me to do more some pizza and then.
Well,
Okay.
So you're asking table orders?
No, I mean, is this something we're voting on?
Yeah.
No, I mean, go ahead and vote on it.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Oh, yeah. I just want to say, I know from.
Name and group.
Jim has your Mohawk Lane.
Who?
And we were going with fireworks, right? Well, we have a lot of people, but they would pay us, right? You'd have these vendors who would pay us to come, but it's because you have so many people. With something like this, I'm just saying.
It's small.
It's as normal that they're gonna be like, no, you're gonna have to pay us to come. So I
Because
just,
it's not enough people.
yeah, because then you can't, yeah.
yeah, I know I looked at Lexi's one time.
I just wanted to say that
It was like a
it's common
$750 minimum before they even come.
If it was some big, huge thing, that
Yeah.
like I said, they'd be probably paying
You have
us.
to guarantee to pay them $750?
Yeah.
Before they even come, yeah.
Because you figure they're tying up a
Correct.
person.
Yeah, they don't want to lose.
Yeah, and their stuff.
They have to pay, yeah.
I'm just gonna say, I'm probably gonna vote no, but I see this in the past. But I'm probably gonna vote no just because I think going forward, I'd rather have more information as to what we're good as opposed to, well, we didn't look into this because I didn't, you know, I don't know, let's do something different. It's like, I'd like to have actual information in front of me, that's all. But I'm not gonna, obviously I won't be holding it up. Nothing against anybody specifically, I just, I don't know.
I hear what you're saying. Go ahead, John.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
There's a motion.
Yes.
So I'll second.
Okay. Motion and second. All in favor? I'm an aye. Jen?
Aye.
Bob? Aye. Russ?
All right, I'll be
You
Oh,
can
they have
say
a conviction.
nay. We won't hold it against you.
What does it matter? I want to support local
Just
business too,
tacos.
you know, it's like,
He likes tacos.
I want to support local business, always, right? We all do, I'm sure, every one of us. It's just this one construction.
I think the problem is attendance level. If we could establish a high
Right,
attendance
right.
level.
Yep, fair enough.
John? Motion carries.
That was a tough one.
But I get your point, like,
Yeah.
do we really need to appropriate town
Me
resources?
too.
Sorry.
We have someone that is interested in purchasing, so they were working at the highway shed. They saw the Ford F-550 that Wayne will be taking off commission soon. It has 100,851 miles on it, and he's interested in purchasing research as to what an appropriate value for this vehicle would be, and to see if the amount of his offer is,
This is sort of preemptive because we haven't even put it up for sale yet.
I haven't posted it on.
Yeah, we have to look
So
at
we
the
would kinda-
NADA.com.
We would probably wait to post it and just keep this person in mind as a interested party.
NADA.com, you can price them out that way.
So, yeah, we can
Right.
keep his name on file, and when we decided what we're gonna do with it, we'll call
Bring it
him
forward.
for a sealed bid, and, because Caden's interested in it as well, so.
That's where I was gonna go with
There's probably- There might be multiple people interested.
Yeah, really, I don't wanna say the number.
Right, no, I didn't either,
Yes.
Okay.
because there's a couple numbers.
Is that one of the ones that always broke down all the time?
No, it's just older and
It's just
rusted,
old.
and may have engine issues.
Don't start with that.
Well, I mean, there's a reason you decommissioned them, right? I just wasn't sure if it was one of the really bad actors that have been acting up with
Well,
them.
those are the new ones.
Those are the newer
This,
ones.
the new one that's a bigger paperweight that we
This is
paid.
a previous
We
generation.
paid $300,000 for a big
Yeah.
paperweight that just started.
Good
Gotcha.
enough? All right, committee updates. John, anything for planning?
Did I mention, just for everyone's reference, that the Mill Road project was conditionally approved at a previous meeting?
I heard that, but I don't think it was from you.
Yeah, I don't think that I mentioned it at the last, so that project was conditionally approved at a meeting, I believe, on the 22nd of September.
It was, sorry, was that for both lots or joint going right to 125?
The lot
Just a-
adjustment.
No, never mind. Karen just said no.
Okay.
So that's for the cluster.
Is Doug?
71 units, he's referring to.
He's talking about the big road building.
Yes, Doug is still in the audience.
Is Doug already approved by the select board to go to the RPC, Karen?
Yes, we did that last week.
All right, so,
I went last week.
You already went.
perfect, thanks, Doug. Kristen had just asked the question, and so I don't know if she's looking for an alternate or not, and, Doug, you and Kristen and I can talk about that offline.
Okay.
Did we make you a one-time alternate or a standing alternate?
Yeah,
Remember, Carol?
He's a member, not an alternate.
All right.
What am I?
Andy says you're a member.
I think you're our representative, but
Because I did hear the term alternate when you voted. But.
we'll look at what the paperwork says.
Okay.
Whatever we
In the
say.
minutes?
Exactly.
Well, I'll go by what the paperwork says.
You're good to go because you already went, so we're good.
ZBA, have you guys met?
You going down the list, sorry.
No, you can go.
Communications committee, I did want to say, and let's talk about this next time, but eventually I do want to ask a question about the website. And, I mean, we're not there, they're not there yet, but I do want to talk about the money, where it would come from, how they, so maybe next
So
week.
that one of the line items we approved was the website tonight, so the website's in the IT budget.
There's some money already in there.
So that's for hosting and for the domain, so if you were to build a new website, would you want to take that out of the cap reserve for software?
Can we take out of
Or could
that?
it be capital, could be
Or town office?
Impact
Fee because it's new.
Bigger and greater?
Yep, bigger and better.
I will
So
say,
that's good, so that's good news.
I will say, Russ, that I went on the website because I was trying to find the annual report from 2020 and 2019.
Yeah,
You can't.
yeah,
I tried in multiple different search
Right.
fields, I couldn't find.
right.
So we need to update the
Yeah.
website.
There was the, sorry,
No, okay.
the 20, what was this year?
Last year's is on there.
Last year's is on there, and then
Before
I
that-
removed them because they took
Good
it to the
idea.
states.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay,
but
thank you.
we could potentially use impact fees
Sure,
for that, right? So
should be great.
that was awesome.
We need to recap.
Hit our budget.
Yeah.
So,
And we did get some, when we were first forming the communications committee, I recall seeing a couple of emails from town residents that really stressed that they wanted to see the website be better, to have better sort of draw for people moving here, businesses coming here, that it would be sort of a selling point for the town. So there's definitely support in town to zhuzh up our website.
I wonder if they can put like those documents in the cloud
I'm
We're not
sure.
paying for the storage, but it's kind of that.
Well, you do still pay for cloud storage.
I'm sure there's ways to do it, because in some other towns, you can look up anything from like 1976 and it's there, so.
Of course, the successful rollout of the Facebook page is great, that's awesome, that they did that, great work in a short time, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. And then now they're trying to finish up the, basically the outline for how new committees are formed, coming out of this whole discussion of the energy committee. So they're finishing that work up. But when they talked about the website, it was sort of, they were a little tentative about it just because of potential how's it gonna get paid for. So I think what I was stressing to them is like, don't feel like you have to slow walk this thing. What I mean is not in terms of paying for it and finishing all that, I'm saying in terms of bringing it to us. Bring it to us, let us see it, because getting this
Well, this is the
website.
perfect time to bring it to us, it's budget season.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So if we need money somewhere.
Yeah, so I just wanted to confirm that, okay, that's
And
good.
do we
then.
have decent impact fees if it costs,
we got-
$5,000 to do a whole new overhaul?
Well, 5 years.
The problem,
Well, what's it gonna cost, ballpark?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, you
10,000?
10, 15, 20,
We do?
how much do we have in?
We have that much.
We have enough.
I
Just,
because
Well,
Oh,
You're
so,
about to
great.
get a bunch more.
Mill Road just got approved, so we're
because
gonna have more.
because part of it does go to what you guys were just talking about, with storage and space, and so they got, so do you want this package, do you want that package? And frankly, if you look at Fremont and Danville, which Becky Dunham had, right away at the first meeting, had done some research on, they use the same service, it's pretty straightforward, but it's easy. And so if it's that approach, they have different packages, so that's the key, is bring it to us, and we say, okay, yeah, this package
So
makes
it sounds
sense,
like
we
we
don't
can
need.
let them know that
we-
there's a revenue source for that.
We don't need holograms coming up from the website or anything like that.
John's gonna sponsor it, so it's all good.
Oh, okay, that's all.
The other thing too is I know
It's his favorite, he's like,
if we don't use that impact dollars, we have to give it back.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give any money back to them.
let's use it, I mean, let's
Use
use it
it
to
or
make the
lose
town
it.
better.
So, we have a certain amount of time
Bob,
to
you
use
got
it.
anything?
Conservation Commission, like I said, they're, right now I have a couple that they put some RFPs or in the process of putting RFPs together to get bids on appraisals on some property.
So there were 3 you were considering and one's moving forward?
Yeah, they're moving forward, definitely with 1, potentially 2. So they're looking at those aspects right now to try to get, they need to get appraisals of the property before we can actually reach out to the CELTs or companies like that to help us partner to get 50/50 grants, stuff like that, so that's where they're at right now. And then, as we talked about, I think it's prudent to use the sources we have, and maybe they can pay for the overtime for these guys to come in and do some work.
I don't have a committee update, but I have 2 quick things. One is I got an email from Lisa Young at rehab.org. And this is a big nationwide, basically information clearinghouse that there's a New Hampshire page. So if you go to rehabs.org/center/New Hampshire, it links to every drug and alcohol treatment center in the state. And it has a phone number that you can call for support, it has resources, it has like information about like, do I need help? And they basically just said in the email, we're attempting to increase our availability to people suffering from drug and alcohol addiction in this area. If you could help us by linking our website to your town website, we think this would be a great opportunity for local people in Brentwood. So on our Brentwood website, we don't really have like a resources tab, but we have an external links, or we could put it maybe as an announcement, or we could think about letting the public know on our Facebook page that this is around. So I just wanted to bring this to the board and see if the board is interested in getting this information out in any official channel.
Is it a for-profit?
I don't believe so, no.
That would be my only concern, is
My
I looked it up, I don't think so.
My concern would be if we open it up to 1, then you're gonna end up opening it up to a bunch of other ones. That would be something I would run through like Sue Benoit to see if she could, it might be a great resource for her when people are looking for resources. I don't know if we can, well, I mean, I don't know if the Facebook
I
page
don't-
can post it.
I don't see why we wouldn't want to have like a resources page where people can go. So I don't have a problem with having, like you said, looking it up to everyone who's not from a for-profit, like product or service pusher, right? If someone's looking for assistance and,
Be part of the new website design.
Maybe the
Right,
regional,
exactly.
maybe the regional associations could vet those as an added task.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna probably get hit up with a bunch of other organizations that are saying, hey, I wanna be part of the resource staff also.
Right.
Right, oh yeah, I don't think this would be to exclude
But
any
that would be
other.
perfect for regional associations since they already gather stuff, so they can say, here's another questionnaire. Do you want to apply to be part of that website versus getting funding? Great, we'll put you on as resource staff, but we gotta vet you that you're not for profit.
So I can try to double check, it's hard to see on my phone, it just says rehabs.org provides patients and their families with reliable, non-biased information regarding every treatment center in the country. So it's more just like an information clearinghouse than anything. So I don't see a reason why not, but we could put others, like to your point. Do folks think something like that might make sense on our town website or on Facebook, or announcement that there are these services out there?
Yeah, I think if we could put a resource tab in there, it would make sense to me. Either, I don't know, can you?
Because
do
there's an
that on Facebook?
external link at the bottom.
Can you
on
put
our
resource tab
website.
on Facebook?
You can put a hyperlink on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just look at my page, it might be a few bucks stuff.
Oh,
There's a hyperlink
you're
right
right.
there, you
There's-
got it.
Boy.
There's a shameless plug.
Oh, product placement.
Do we need to vote on this,
Senator.
or can
It
we
was,
just
it was
agree?
kind of tabled that until we get a place to put it.
Okay, but everyone's in favor of,
Of
because I can let,
resource
she had just asked me to let her know what we decide. Okay, so
We're revamping the
It's a work in progress.
website.
okay. One other quick thing that I had is if anyone has looked at the sample ballots for November 8th, there's 2 ballot questions, and they are super confusing. And I read the New Hampshire, like, Secretary of State explanation of the first question, and I was still confused, like, really confused. And so I came across a 2-page explanation of both question 1, which is really basically just housekeeping, cleaning up wording because we really no longer use registers of probate, but it just makes it super clear what that question is asking. And then the second question about shall we vote for a constitutional convention, it explains the whole background about how we have to do this every 10 years, and if the legislature doesn't vote, it happens automatically, and that's what's happening. It just makes it super, super, super clear. This particular document that I found is from the League of Women Voters of New Hampshire. I picked up a few, this one was the clearest, and I really liked it because it's completely nonpartisan and they don't take a position. They just say, here's the question, this is what it means. Here's the question, this is what it means. And on Ballotopedia and some of those other things, they use the same wording, so I don't know where they got this from. But if, it's in your packets, if folks are in favor of this, you know, one of the reasons we wanted the communications committee was for stuff just like this, so that when people come to vote, they actually know what the heck they're voting for. And so if, I really like this document, if people want to do something different, we could do that as well. But I really think we should take the opportunity to use some of our communication pathways to make sure people know what they're voting for, because I certainly didn't after looking at it.
Maybe we just send the communications committee a request to look for documentation that can help voters go through those 2 questions instead of forcing something on them, you know, give them that website that we found.
And ask them to use this or something else similar.
Yeah, that's the idea, we're just looking for you to
Yeah.
disseminate some correct information to
Just realizing we did that already.
Oh, they won't meet again before the election?
Till after, I
I
think.
believe that they discussed this at the town clerk convention that Becky just went to. Did you want to touch base with that, or I can touch base with that?
Sure.
To see if
Because I know she
there's
previously had released like official explanation. It is not very good. I didn't think so. You want me just to talk to Daph then and see what she thinks?
Yeah.
Anyone, I mean, is anyone opposed to this idea?
No, I think the information is good. as long
Yeah.
as-
It's not biased, it doesn't give a position, it just says, this is what it is, this is what it is.
I still remember, when my kids were little, did you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like, did you know?
So I would love to see a did you know corner on that
Yeah.
Facebook communication page.
Yeah.
Did you know, if you answer this way, this is
Okay.
what it means.
So I'll check with Daphne and see if maybe she got something better from that convention. If not, I'll suggest that we use something like this. Okay, perfect. And they freely said that this can be, shared publicly. It's just a PDF that I could download. Okay, that was all I have.
Just gonna whack it.
She just got
He
bit.
didn't whack, I know, no,
Jeez.
he didn't whack me, I'm fine.
All right.
Which
Health
did you
insurance
get?
rates.
For the
I'm
record,
right next to him.
please note in minutes.
Health insurance rates are projected to increase 11.7% this year based off of actual claims.
Ouch.
So last year we saw a decrease in our rates, and this year we are seeing the counter effect of that based off of actual claims. So during COVID, for those 2 years, they had low claims, and now everyone is sort of catching up and going back to the doctor.
Is that basically like people putting off routine surgeries and things like that? So it's kind of expected. So it's not as shocking as it sounds.
Correct.
How does this compare to before we dipped? Like, is it way above where we were?
So over the last 5-year average, it was, I think it was between a 4 and a 5% increase annually over the last 5 years.
And then we dipped.
And then we dipped and then back up.
So is this current rate, like if we dipped for the past 2 years during COVID, is this like way higher than 3 years ago?
It would be about 3% to where we were.
So it would have been typical if not for the weirdness of COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so. So I am pricing out what it looks like status quo, and then I'm meeting with Melissa from Health Trust to explore different plan options and to see what that may look like with our employee group.
I mean, I can speak personally, like I got my hip replacement during COVID and did it this year. So like my employer is feeling the same way about my bills right now. So it's just a real thing.
Is it worth looking at getting a quote from interlocal trust?
We can look at interlocal trust. Everything that I have seen through them is that the rates are lower that first annual year, and then they sort of take back up and then competitive with health. But we can look, I can just transfer through Harvard.
Yes.
What's the one you have now?
They're through Anthem.
Does everyone in town pretty much use the town insurance, or are a lot of people on like a spouse or family member insurance?
We have, I believe, 6 employees that either maintain insurance through their spouse or a parent.
So the majority use town insurance.
Yes.
Solar. Go for the old one right now?
Well, it was about the insurance.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Michelle?
I know that Michelle Suit at No Road, has there been any further discussion? I know we have talked for years and years and years about changing up the health insurance benefits as far as what employees pay or any of that. Has there been any,
Like contribution, is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
So currently, the town contributes 100% to a single and 75% to a 2-person or family plan. There was just a spreadsheet that was released on New Hampshire Municipal Managers Association, and the average that an employer is contributing is 90%.
For a single,
For a single 2-person or family plan.
so overall, and we're 100 and then 75, so it kind of equalizes out.
I think so.
Yeah.
And so we offer 3 plan options. The town elects 100, 75, and 75 of that plan option. And then traditionally, we've offered a plan with a deductible, and they take those same dollars and contribute it to that plan option. So those employees receive more of their premium covered, but then they pay the deductible.
Do you feel like you need to make a change to that, or you feel like it's in line with sort of the averages of
I think
everyone else?
that sort of stabilizes it to bring us back so that we can be competitive with those other towns that are offering the 90% or the 100% for those 2-person family plans. But I am looking at offering either a higher deductible or looking at those plan options to see if that can sort of maintain coverage but reduce costs on both sides.
75-25 is a high share. Like I'm at 86-14.
A high employee share.
Hmm?
A high employee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there a deadline by which time the town needs to decide that? What's the contractual?
I'll need to do that, we'll need to make that decision at the end of November so that we can get the transmittals for December open enrollment.
Okay.
Cold cola?
So trustee to the trust funds estimate COLA at 5.2.
It's too late for your jokes, Andy.
I know, right, I'm just trying to cruise along.
8:45.
Jen, grab the hammer.
Too late for jokes.
I'm not talking, I'm just-
Continue, Karen.
He doesn't have a bag, it's
trustees and trust fund.
COLA is estimated between 5.2 and 8.7% is what Social Security Administration released last Thursday. FYI.
So I've never been a firm believer in COLA. I've stood up to selectmen's meeting last night and said, pay a person what they're worth, not
performance.
not by what the government says it should be increased. If you can go get a job the next town over for $5 an hour more, then we need to do something. So
And I know.
I don't think everybody across the board needs 5, 6, 7, or 8%. Some jobs may need 3, some jobs may need 20.
We have good data in terms of where we fall compared to some other towns in terms of like competitive salaries.
Karen did a lot of work last year.
Yeah, so I did a wage adjustment study last year and compared it to 6 towns that are in this
That's
area.
really good.
So I'm trying to work on updating that data as well as seeing what those towns are offering for
For
COLA. What they
adjustments.
offered for COLA or merits last year and for this year.
And what did this board do last year? Did they do what you
That's what
described?
we did,
Kind of
yes.
piecemeal based on what seemed
Yeah.
to make sense regionally?
Tried to bring an employee, not in the middle, not to the high end,
Right.
but average everything out and put them in the middle.
Where they wouldn't have a big motivation to go the next town over.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to price it out or do the analysis to make sure that the rates are still maintaining that competitive edge.
So I would tell budget department heads, if they're gonna ask for big numbers, to bring justification.
Sure.
And we still need performance.
Well, like Janice's number was 1.9%, so it was a lot lower than these numbers that were quoted. It was the wage increase that she quoted us tonight.
No, she was $1 or something.
Oh, it was 7%, so it was in this range.
Yes.
You're right, sorry.
And I can tell you, just from what I'm seeing in my world, the average I'm seeing for salary adjustments in staffing and private industry right now is around 5%.
A little bit more than typical.
Yep.
I feel like at the hospital,
Usually
it's
you're
usually
around
like
1.5 to
3, 4,
3%.
yeah.
So they're sitting around 5% is what they're trying to do adjustments for. And that's
Because
just
of
private
low
industry.
unemployment and everything.
They have to be competitive, otherwise they're gonna start losing people.
Well, in Northfield is offering 8%.
8% across the board?
Across the board.
Wow.
Lebanon's doing,
Who wants to move to Northfield?
but that's how they're tracked.
What did they do in Pittsburgh? We found out
But
what
that's not
happened.
uncommon, right? Like Bo is doing 5% COLA and then a 2.5% step.
But they were still at 8%.
Exeter's doing 4.5 and then they're reclassing their employees and giving them a grade. So between the grade and the COLA and the merit, it.
I know UNH is looking at reclassification of a lot of
I mean, it
positions.
makes sense, don't we have like the second lowest unemployment in the nation or something? Or first, I don't know if we're first or second, but we're right up there. Okay.
And I think Salem's doing a 3%,
It was 5 last night.
5 total, right? I think it's 2% COLA and a 3% step.
Subject to change. Anything else, Michelle?
I have a question, wait a minute, I forgot. Oh, yeah, Communications Committee, the website. So when you redo the website, do you have somebody to do that, or are you gonna be doing RFPs, or what does that look like?
TBD, I think, right?
Yeah, that's, so they're getting quotes right now.
Okay.
They're seeking quotes, yeah.
Are you soliciting quotes,
I'm not, but
or would they be? Because
Yeah.
I may know someone who would be interested, and that's why I'm asking.
Then-
but-
then I would have them get in touch with Steph Lewandon.
I would think, Russ, when they're ready, will that be like publicly announced? I would assume they put something in the newsletter.
We should.
Should be an
Because it sounds like they're still in kind of discussion phases, or are they full steam ahead?
Well, no, they're definitely still in discussion, they're trying to get ballpark figures, so. Yeah,
And worried that they
they're
didn't
gonna
have
fall,
funds.
huh?
And worried that they didn't have funds, like you mentioned earlier.
Right, well, being smart about it, I
Yeah.
think, you know, but,
I think they
So
probably
they're
want
not-
as many applicants, as many options as possible to try to get the cheapest, best
I
Overall.
mean, is general practice, you would have to put it out for an RFP, right?
Well, that's a
I
good
would think
question.
so.
Anything over 10,000 would
Yeah.
be on RFP.
That's,
That would be posted on the select board's page of the website and in the carriage center.
and that did come up in the discussion. That's my fault for not bringing it. That did come up in their discussion. A question about what the procedure was for anything over 10,000. And it was something that they were gonna come to you and try and ask. So yeah, so they're not anywhere near making a decision or anything like that. There was a question about procedure for it, and then there was a question about if there was gonna be money for it. So anyway, so thank you. Good question.
Anything else?
No business. Grace Dakota, Middle Road, I'd like to request for funding for the Brentwood newsletter for January through March, because we won't have that funding before the town meeting. Thank you.
So that would be when they present the budget?
Well,
That's not, it's not a budget, it's a request for additional funding. So
That's right, it's not in the
January-
budget
For
anymore.
prepayment, is
No,
basically?
it's to pay for January, February, March, because the budget.
'Cause it's not a budget.
You guys are switching us to a
Right.
budget, so we won't have that money for 3
So
months.
we have to decide whether we're gonna put it as a budget item or if we're gonna warrant it.
No, we already voted last year not to warrant it.
Oh, do we?
Yep.
So we'll have to make an appointment with the editors of the newsletter to propose a budget for next year.
I have a budget, we're going to present that as well.
Sure.
Do you have copies or?
You can just give one to Karen and then we'll
She can send it out. to us.
pick a date that's good for whoever wants to represent the newsletter and come in and talk just like the department heads.
Which budget has a line item for this?
General government.
And when will we doing that one?
I put it off until November because I was going to put the cleaning up for a bid.
Oh, right. So in November. Okay, so we can probably have this conversation at that time as well.
What is it, what date is it, November?
Wouldn't be the eighth.
No, that's the last one here. Question for you guys. The change in your company since the last time is that you guys are now an official 501(c) or C3, whatever I'm saying wrong.
We were, so last year,
Right. Do you guys see some cost savings with some of your distribution companies? I've heard people say that you get a better rate when you're an official tax exempt organization. Is that true?
Well, we can ask, but we also switched printers because our prior printer was retired, he was
Sure.
doing it in his basement.
Sure.
So we had to go out and we shopped around, we got a local one out of Hampstead that was willing to accommodate us for a reasonable price. So Robin does have plans to
discuss
say, if we know that we're gonna have a
Right.
full year, we can say,
Yeah.
hey, we got a full year,
I
can I
think usually
negotiate
there's a
this
pretty
price?
significant price reduction when you're an official tax exempt organization.
Right.
So it's worth pushing that angle
Yep,
where you can.
and we've done that with the postage as well, with
Awesome.
doing the bulk postage.
Okay.
So that's primarily all we have, is that, everything
Right.
else is volunteer,
Right.
so, those are our two largest costs.
Right.
Can you do that?
So which day is it?
November 22nd.
November 22nd.
So
We were meeting by the end of the year.
we will forward any questions we have so that you're not blindsided that night before that night.
On that budget,
Yes.
okay. So what about January, February, March?
We can't pay it till January.
No, that would be fine. I just-
The budget you would be approved for would start in January.
No,
The point, we're trying to ask for the money for January, February, March, because we won't get it.
Yeah, but what he's saying is we have to approve the budget first and then we could agree to prepay you.
Well,
the
we're
budget-
well,
trying
the
to-
budget's on April through.
April through December.
Yeah, so that budget will be April through next March, being on the warrant.
We basically don't want to be on the hook for January, February, March and have the whole shenanigans that went on last year. We want to know that we're going to be able to get paid for January,
I
February,
mean, the
March.
budget is January through December. It's just weird
But this
because we
budget that you're
approve it in
presenting is
March.
only for April through, is that what you're telling us? It doesn't include the January,
I
February?
did it we did it as a fiscal year because we need to be able to have funding in advance for January, February, March.
Yeah.
So that's an annual budget, but it's based on April through.
It's not actually. So the budget that we will
Okay.
approve for you is January through December. It's just feels awkward because we don't officially approve it until March. But all of our budgets are January through December, right? So we have to approve that number
Okay.
first, and hopefully by then, you can have let us know, were you able to bring it down because of 501c3? And then, once we approve it, then we can have a separate conversation about
But
pre-pay.
she can't go without having,
You could bill us in December for payment for January,
January.
February, March.
January 2nd or whatever,
Okay.
yeah.
How are you gonna do that? I
It's
guess
going in the
that's our
budget,
concern.
yes. It's going in the
But
budget.
if
So
we don't
the number
approve
that
the
you
budget,
present, the number
and
that you
we
just
pay
have
for
written down
January,
right now is
February,
fine.
March, then what?
Well, if we
Because
discuss
that's what we're
it,
trying to avoid. We
if
wanna
we
make sure that
discuss
we
it
are
next
actually, can I
month.
finish, please? We wanna make sure that we get the funds for January, February, and March before we produce the publication, and then you don't give us the money.
November 21st, we're gonna discuss your budget and approve it.
So it's
The
not
next
that.
week, it would go to budget committee, and if they approve it, then that's the funds that you would have available.
Okay.
And then I just want to make sure that the
Pending.
number that you just gave Karen is not April to,
it would have been, in our mind, we did it April to March.
so that needs to be fixed.
Well, no, not really, because it's still a
It's
12-month
12
period.
months.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, just let us know if that's your final number, or if you're still.
That is the
debating
final,
it.
that's the final number, as long as we get the budget, if we then can communicate and request discount from the printer, which we would absolutely do.
Right, we want you to let us know.
We would ask for less or, yes,
Gotcha.
okay?
Sounds good.
Thank
So
you.
November.
That it?
Is the meeting the 20, I heard 2 days, the 21st or the 22nd? Thank
Over the Tuesday.
Before Thanksgiving.
And what do you do for like other town committees and things that have bills and stuff? We just go as if the budget is going to be approved by the town, right?
So the only thing that doesn't change is payroll?
Yeah.
Raises?
That waits till the town meeting.
Yes.
But everything else, once we pass the budget and BudCom passes it, it's assumed to be the live budget, and we just,
Yes.
through January through March, it's like in effect, even though it's sort of pre-approved and not formally approved by the legislative body. So that, their issue is really not an issue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Like a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Thumbs up.
Aye.
Thanks, Jim.
Wanna have a good night?
See you, John.
Oh, yeah, good night, John. I agree with that.
Fancy use of court as
Oh,
well.
I love you.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night, John.
Good night.
Oh, where is he? All set?
Who's where?
Someone's in
Yeah.
He's in Hollywood, yeah.